I think we need to put work in its place.
Suzi McAlpine is a leadership coach.
What's one thing that surprised you about the last month?
She's worried that we're flogging ourselves at work.
I think there's a real prevalent culture of glorifying stress. We treat work as inherently virtuous and rest as inherently lazy. In fact, what the research shows is that productivity completely tanks after 50 hours a week. So you might be working 60 or 70 hours and you're really not achieving much more.
And yet New Zealand has longer working hours than the majority of OECD countries. Burnout is commonly reported in key industries like teaching, nursing and law.
One of the difficulties about burnout is it's a slow burn. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up one morning engaged and full of energy and then the next minute you wake up burned out. And so it can be really difficult to spot.
Why do people keep soldiering on even while they're burning out?
Well, I think a lot of it is to do with stigma and culture. I think we are too afraid to put our hands up and say, actually, I'm struggling here, because we think it's going to be a career-limiting move, or that people will see us as mentally weak.
Asking for help is especially hard when you've got hundreds of cows to milk.
I love the challenge of farming. I was extremely driven, really passionate, love the dairy industry. You live and absolutely breathe it.
For 8 years, Jason Halford was share milking in the central North Island.
So my alarm would go off at 3:50 in the morning. A good friend of mine used to say, why are you getting up before 5 o'clock, you know? And I'd go, oh, well, I just have to, because I wanted to get X amount done in the day. Good girl. It's the competitive nature of milking cows. You know, like every day you get a docket and it says how much milk you're producing, and you go, ooh, 100 litres up today. That was a real driver. I wanted everything to be perfect.
As his own boss, Jason set his own hours.
What was the longest stretch that you worked?
I'd be scared to admit it, but it would definitely be a calendar year.
You went for a whole calendar year without a break?
Yeah. But, you know, it's not something to be proud of. It's really not. I didn't take enough time off, regular time off. I was truly fatigued. How I never had an accident is just beyond me. It's so foolish looking back at it, but I was in it. My mind wasn't telling me, oh, Jason, you should stop for a while. I just kept working. The amount of time I spent with my kids and my wife was pretty minimal. I had a friend I was talking to, and he said to me, you know, every time that I'm talking to you on the phone, you're working and I'm not. I could hear his kids in the background. Couldn't hear mine. You know, just don't work yourself to the bone. Yeah, work hard at times, but have some time off. Because, man, it was a shitty place. Work's not everything. Work's not everything.
When you're in this rat race, there is no end.
Jenny Eastwood is a millennial, a business owner and a survivor of burnout.
I didn't have another choice. It was like, you have to change the way you work or you're going to go insane.
As a copywriter, Jenny creates words and stories for clients around the world.
We can customize it accordingly.
When she started her business last year, she gave it everything.
I'd wake up at about 7. The first thing I would do would be check my phone. What emails have come in that day? Like, who's messaged me? What leads have I got? This whole day, from the minute I opened my eyes in the morning, was constant influx of information, stimulation, overload, stress. I was hardly eating. I felt like lunch was a distraction in the day, and I used to resent getting hungry because I was like, no, I can't take a break right now. I need to just keep going.
Jenny was seduced by Instagram posts from young entrepreneurs overseas.
All I was exposed to were these women who were my age who had this dream. They were buying their dream home, but not only were they buying their dream home, they were renovating it and making it beautiful and taking these amazing holidays and buying all these fancy things. I thought, well, I'm not nailing it with what I'm doing right now, so naturally I need to do twice as much. I need to work harder. I couldn't sleep at night. If I tried to shut my eyes, all I would think about were landing pages, sales pages, my next Instagram post. At the worst of it, I didn't even leave my house for 3 whole weeks. I mean, I literally didn't even go as far as my letterbox for 3 weeks because I was just holed up on my computer, and I have never felt so terrible in my entire life.
During COVID, many people, like Jenny, have got used to working from home. Leadership coach Suzi McAlpine says this doesn't always mean better work-life balance.
You've got a Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call. You know, Zoom fatigue is really real. Did you drink enough water?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There used to be a time when we would finish work and we would go home and we would start our personal lives. Well, that line has blurred. You might be getting emails at 10 or 11 o'clock at night and still watching your children or putting them to bed. And so I think this always-on culture has contributed to that sense of overwork.
While self-employed people can control their own hours, most of us are at the mercy of our employers.
Often, when we talk about burnout, we focus on the individual, on the person who's experiencing the burnout, when really it sits squarely in the workplace. It's the workplace that's causing the problems. What I get annoyed at is organisations saying, you know, here is a resilience course, here are some yoga courses, but we're not going to change the leadership practices or the workplace that's causing the stress in the first place. Burnout's not going to be fixed by a fruit bowl in the lunchroom.
Suzi says bosses must take responsibility for workplace culture, encouraging staff to work flexibly without taking on too much.
We need to get better at looking at what we're expecting workers to do with the resources that they have to do it.